Nobody alive today has seen a storm like this come in this direction to the west coast, the Gulf Coast of Florida. What's going on, guys? Certified meteorologist Jonathan Kagas back with you. Looks a little different coming at you from the home studio today, but I wanted to hop on because this is a serious threat to the Gulf Coast of Florida. So we're going to talk about Milton, of course, and I want to show you the surge numbers coming in. They are super concerning, especially for my friends along the Gulf Coast of Florida, of course, because we just had record surge and we might outdo that Helene surge with Milton. So some serious stuff. And then through interior central Florida, this is likely going to be extremely bad as well. So there is Milton. It is a tropical storm as of about 9 o'clock on October 5th. And it's a very healthy storm. It got its act together quick. We were talking in the live stream the other day that if the satellite trends were to continue and this were to continue to fire the thunderstorms off, it would be able to reach the upper echelon of the model forecast, and the intensity forecasts are certainly going to be concerning. I first want to get you to the official forecast here from the National Hurricane Center. Somebody bouncing around some screens. This is, of course, the cone, and it's expected to get pretty strong and pretty strong fast. There you see it already by Tuesday. At 2 o'clock in the morning, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we're talking about a 115 mile per hour Category 3 storm in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. You see that intensity maintained a little bit, not to get too meteorological or dynamic-y right now, because I do want to make sure that everybody knows that this is coming. It's in a favorable area with the jet stream to help it intensify while it's in the middle of the Gulf. But that same jet is going to help to induce some shear with it on the northern side of the storm to help maybe weaken it a little bit. Again, it's just going to be some nuances. This is still likely to make landfall somewhere along the Gulf Coast of Florida as a extremely powerful, at least Category 3 hurricane. And again, it may be able to overachieve some of those intensity forecasts. Here are the computer models, and you see most of them are really honing in on the Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater area. I think it's going to be right around that area, maybe a bit north. The deal with this one is, and these are going to be the trends to watch, the stronger the storm, the more north it's going to jog in that cone that I just showed you. I'll pull that back up again. So the further north we are, and again, let me zoom in on Florida here to kind of bring up some areas. Again, we're not focusing on the center because the uncertainty is that it can bounce around anywhere within that cone. I do think, though, we are going, when we shrink the error in the cone, I do think it's going to favor the left side of it, like the Bradenton, Sarasota, and north solution here. So I do think we might end up seeing it start to ride to the left of where you see the icon with the 3 there. But that is 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday, coming ashore as a Category 3 hurricane. Again, the last time this area has seen a storm make landfall was 1921. But again, you have to go back to 1900 or earlier to see an example like this of a storm developing in the Bay of Campeche and then coming east across the Gulf of Mexico. It's super rare. And again, that's the historic part of this, not to mention historic surge is going to be possible in some areas that just received historic surge from Helene on the Gulf Coast of Florida, specifically the Tampa area. All right, so there are the spaghetti plots again. I want to take you to some of the hurricane models. And again, they are coming in very aggressive. So this is going to be on Monday afternoon. So by Monday, we're seeing this thing potentially rapidly intensify. If you know about the pressure, again, the lower the pressure, the stronger the storm. That's 937 millibars. Again, that's a healthy Cat 3, maybe pushing Cat 4 or stronger in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. So we're going to take this out. You see the pressure starting to come up a little bit. And then there you go, making landfall maybe around, at least according to the H-Wharf, around Newport Richey, maybe just north of there, north of Clearwater, north of Tampa. Again, that is the H-Wharf solution. And again, that's going to be on October 10th, on Thursday, late Wednesday night, October 9th, into the 10th. So this is going to be the HAFS A model. And again, this one went crazy. This is down to 901. That would be a Cat 5. I don't know that it can reach 901. That would be historic of itself in terms of the pressure. But you see what's going on here. This lifts it closer to the Big Bend, Homosassa Springs, closer to Cedar Key area, just south of Cedar Key. That is still on the table as well. Note a couple of things, and again, we're going to bring you certainly much more coverage as we get into Monday through Thursday. We're going to have a lot of live streams on this channel, as we always do. But the thing that I want to point out here, note that the southern half of the storm gets eroded. So while it's still going to be windy, there's not a ton of rain on the southern side. Now, this would have to be, there's supercells on the Florida Peninsula at Wednesday. This is 2 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. And I mean, the tornado threat is sky high. With Helene, kind of dodged it in the interior because Helene got so strong, it kept everything in. This one's going to start unraveling through the peninsula, and we would have a major tornado threat in central Florida, North Florida, South Florida. I mean, it's just going to be a doozy of a storm. And again, potential for historic proportions. You know me, I don't like to hype stuff. I don't hype stuff, but I don't use historic lightly. Again, nobody alive today has ever seen a storm come in like this from where it was born. That is fact, because that was 1900, unless somebody's 124 years old. That would be impressive. But there's the heavy rain there. So that is the HAFS A. This is the European model right here. This is also late Wednesday night, about 10 o'clock Wednesday night. There's the storm. It's at 976. You don't pay attention to the Euro for intensity. Do so for track, not intensity. It just doesn't have all the dynamics and stuff in the model to be able to handle intensity. So you never want to look at the Euro for intensity, but it has it coming through right through Clearwater, St. Pete, and then coming through Tampa, and then the super heavy rain going through that. So that was some of the models. I'll show you the HAFS B real quick, because that one has historically done well this season with the track, and it also has it a little bit further north. So again, that's one of the things that we're going to watch. The stronger the storm, the more north it's going to want to jog. So keep that in mind. Okay, so I want to show you one more thing, because this is critically important, and I want you to keep on checking back, because the surge map that I'm going to show you is going to fluctuate with where the center of the storm goes. I showed you this map before with Helene, and it did a very good job predicting the record flooding, storm surge flooding that came into Tampa. That was just about 7-ish feet. The forecast on our Q-Risk map here came in at 5 to 8 feet. Look at this. Around Tampa, 12 to 15 feet. If that were to verify, and again, this is still a big if, okay? Because if the center does go up here, if the center does come through closer to Homosassa Springs, like some of the hurricane models were to show, the surge would be less in Tampa. So I do want to caution that. But if it comes through, like we saw with some of the hurricane models, making landfall around Clearwater or St. Pete, we would be talking about surge double or more of what you guys just saw in Tampa. Now, I will say here, I mean, that's still a lot of that. I mean, even so, this is the same amount of surge, 6 to 9 feet. That's a little bit more. We had Helene way out here, and that was pushing the water up like that. This one is poised to come in. Let me get the telestrator back out. This one is poised to come in like this, or like this. So now we are pushing the water right on into St. Pete Beach. And all that Oldsmar, and then the east side of Tampa. So, I mean, all of this stuff, and we're getting real close in here. Apollo Beach through Ruskin, Gulf City is underwater. You can kind of see there as I zoom out. And, I mean, we're going to pay close attention to this. This will all depend on, though, where the track goes. I mean, look at this. Even far down, we're talking about Bayshore Gardens in Sarasota, 12 to 15 storm surge. life-threatening storm surge to say the least. And we saw just south of Tampa, 15 to 18. Also, when the storm crosses back out, we're going to have some big issues. If it goes like that, it's going to push water back into Cape Canaveral, Daytona Beach, 6 to 9 foot storm surge right along the shore. There was 0 to 3 feet. And then this is where we're going to be concerned with Palm Coast, 6 to 9 feet, 0 to 3 feet, 3 to 6 feet, Flagler Beach. And then also an inland side, because my friends in Astor, we flood so much along the St. Johns. And what's going to happen here as the storm gets out and moves up like this, the winds are going to shift. So if it does go right through the I-4 corridor, and we get all that heavy rain dumping south of the St. Johns and the South Johns, or the St. Johns, I should say. If you don't know that, it drains from, it goes in this way. It's south to north flowing. You're going to have the wind pushing back on the river, kind of like what we did in Ian. Now, there was a lot of rain dumped in the St. Johns with Ian. It's going to be unclear still as we wait to see where this thing actually goes as to how much rain will be dumped through the St. Johns. But regardless, 3 to 6 feet of water rise at this point anyway can be expected in Astor. So we're going to be watching that closely for you guys. All right, that about wraps it up. Just want to make sure and get an update to you because, again, this is a serious update, a significant storm that is likely going to rapidly strengthen. Remember, the difference from what we were talking about, those same disturbance that we highlighted prior to this, that's still coming. It's bringing some heavy rain to southwest Florida tomorrow. This is a whole new beast that formed behind it and is quickly going to get going. So it might catch a lot of people off guard. So tell your friends, share this channel. We're going to be doing a lot of live hits starting on Monday and continuing through the duration of the storm to keep you guys posted. Again, thank you guys so much. If you have found this helpful, please hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button so that YouTube pushes this out to people, and we will catch you soon. Please be safe. It's a good time to start your preparations.